All right, everybody on Facebook, on YouTube, we are live. Can you hear us? Can you see us? I've got Harry Soo out of Diamond Bar, California. Harry, man, can you hear me?
Hey, everybody. Happy to be here. Always a pleasure to chat with Wes and his community and all the communities of the barbecue aficionados out there.
Awesome, man. I appreciate your time as always. Um, it's sometimes difficult for us to line our schedules up, and we finally did it. We'll hit the intro, and man, we'll get right into it. What's up, guys? Wes, the People's Pitmaster, back again for another episode of the Smoke Ring Syndicate. It's my weekly barbecue podcast that drops every Wednesday at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Last week we were out in Colorado. This week we're headed further west to Diamond Bar, California, chatting with my friend Harry Soo of Slap Your Daddy Barbecue. Harry, can you hear me?
Hey, Wes, loud and clear. Happy to be on your podcast.
Fantastic, fantastic. It's been a couple of years since we've sat and chatted. And I think the last time we sat and chat, you were still working full time for a government entity, and you've finally taken retirement, and you're taking it easy now, right?
Pretty much, if you consider doing 65 gigs this year, taking it easy. I have been so blessed. I retired a couple of years ago after spending about 3 decades in the world of IT,
Yep.
doing computers, building data centers, and dealing all of the headaches of hardware, software, infrastructure, and cloud. So happy to be cast off and into the sunset to worry about things like cooking a brisket and
Yeah.
traveling the world. I've been so fortunate that since retirement, with my little social media following on YouTube and TikTok and all, people have been finding me on the internet and hiring me to do demos, trade shows, classes, and travel around the world.
Yeah, well, I say your little following. I think I last I looked at your YouTube. I think around 190,000 people following the barbecue philanthropist Harry Soo. Uh, so you've definitely not been kicked back in a rocking chair since retirement. You're still working full time, but it's barbecue, right?
Absolutely. I really think that in life, you have to basically focus on four things, right? Do what you love, what you do what you're good at, and do what the world needs, and do what you can make a living with. And I retired from the government sector. I worked in public service for over 30 years, and I'm ready now to do a little bit of travel for myself, see all my buddies like Wes, go around the country, eat a lot of barbecue, uh, volunteer in a lot of barbecue events for barbecue causes such as OBR, Operation Barbecue Relief, Save the Children Foundation, and Operation Homefront. So I'm very passionate about kind of giving back. Barbecue for me right now is more about philanthropy, getting the word out that barbecue is an inclusive activity. It is not exclusive. So no matter whether you cook fat side up or fat side down, we love you and we welcome you.
And don't start an argument this early now. So since retirement and just in the last probably year or so, you're filming for another TV show, and then you've got the YouTube, and then you've got your trade shows. Um, do your days have more hours than mine, or how does that work?
I try to take it easy. I on top of doing social media, teaching classes, I just checked my records. I just finished my last class for 2023, and I realized, I've taught like 300 classes in 15 years. I have 4,000 Padawans that I personally trained myself in my small little tiny dozen student classes in my backyard. And I just realized that, I've been really consistently kind of putting out a class a month, pretty much the past 15 years. And that is shocking to me because I never imagined that, the journey has come so far and so long. I am just so tickled that when I meet people, total strangers sometimes on the streets around the cities I travel to, they come up to me and they say, "Hey, Harry, you may not know who I am, but I watch your videos and I took a class and yet that little journey I took with you has really helped me in my own journey. So I'm always so honored and blessed and humbled that people find my, really very bad YouTube videos useful. I have no production quality. I just shoot my cell phone and I just post the raw content, and people seem to enjoy it. They ask me questions about it, and I have to tell you, so many people tell me they started their barbecue journey in competition or backyard, even running restaurants, by just watching these simple videos I put out of what I do. And what is interesting about me is I show you everything. I don't hold anything back, even though some of these techniques I've used have won First Place USA, KCBS, and so on. I just give out my techniques and share it with the world, because I think the world definitely needs more love.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know when we were at juniors in 19, you were still shooting on the cell phone. So it's still
same cell phone. It's the same cell phone.
The same one.
Yeah, people keep telling me, can you please upgrade your production quality? And I say, I don't shoot videos to make a living. I just put it all out there. And if you have benefit with it, that's cool. If not, that's cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoy showcasing people that there is so much diversity in barbecue. And I've had the privilege of cooking in Ireland. I cook in Cologne, Germany. I cook in Mexico. I even cook for the cartel. And it's all the same thing. It's all about, showing people that we are all united with fire, meat, and smoke.
Yeah. Did you say the cartel?
Okay, that's a little side story. But basically, I went and taught in Culiacan. So for people who know where Culiacan is in Mexico. And I actually taught a class in Monterrey with my friend Sebastian, the pitmaster from Monterrey Barbecue Academy. And apparently one of the students was from Culiacan, and he worked with Sebastian to bring me over to Culiacan, and I taught the class there. And Culiacan has a notorious reputation. And when I was staying at a hotel they hosted me at, I did some internet searching, and the hotel name appeared on several interesting articles. And I went, okay, I'm in the middle of this environment, and I taught a class, and they loved the class, and they brought some seafood to class, and I cooked the seafood as part of a barbecue class, and they really enjoyed the seafood. So hey, we'll invite you back next year. We'll take you fishing, and you can do a seafood class. So I thought that was a really interesting kind of adventure. And what is very ironic is 2 weeks later, I go to Bakersfield, California, and I teach the police department class. So when I saw my Google Maps, when they sent back to me, they showed me down to Culiacan, and then they showed me back in the police department. So I thought, wow, that is an interesting Google Map journey that I can, chalk it up as one of my milestones for 2023.
Absolutely, that's really cool. So barbecue unites everybody, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes I tell you, when I travel around the world, like when I was in Germany, I headlined the world's largest trade show called Spogagafa. To give you an idea of how crazy the Europeans are, in the EU, their barbecue seminars or barbecue conventions, right? Just the barbecue area alone is 6 soccer stadiums in size. Just to give you an idea. Wow. The average booth there is about 100 feet by 100 feet. So when you go and see like Weber and Charbroil and all in Europe, they are not like the trade shows I do here in the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. They are completely a different scale, and there are like 30,000 people who come to these conventions. And I was privileged to showcase the American stage. So I did the Kansas City ribs, the Texas brisket, California tri-tip, and I did like 3 shows a day for the crowd to kind of bring them in to explain kind of the mystique of American barbecue. And the ironic thing is, among the 3 days of demos that I did, the dish that got the most press wasn't my barbecue. I made some vegetables in Cologne, Germany, and I grilled some vegetables for my lunch and for my crew, right?
Yeah.
And then the people who came to watch my demos, they say, "Hey, what's that sitting on the counter?" I say, "Oh yeah, that's not the brisket I'm serving you for the demo. That's for my crew, and I cook some vegetarian, vegan food." Because I'm starting a new channel in 2024 called Slap Your Vegan Daddy, because I have so many friends in California who they don't eat meat. So I told them I have to prove myself that I am inclusive, not exclusive. So whether you are a meat eater or non-meat eater, I embrace and I love you and I will serve you. And I'm going to create a new concept which is not so common in our circles of pit
Yeah.
masters, but to cook some vegan food. So anyway, long story short, the audience attacked my lunch platter instead of eating all just the brisket and the ribs that I had cooked in Cologne, Germany. So now I guess I have a little reputation of the pitmaster from America who came to cook meat, but the crowd ended up attacking the other vegetables that he had made in the demo.
Yeah. All right. Hold on one second for me, Harry. I'm going to have to back out and back.
Oh. All right, I lost my feed here. I hope you guys are all still there. Okay, it still says I'm live. Everyone can see and hear you. Okay, so I guess I lost Wes, and this is his podcast. So we'll see if he comes back. Wes, you there? Okay. All right, you're back.
So, sorry about that.
Technical difficulties, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, trust me, I work with technology for a long time, so I can completely understand that things don't always go as planned.
Yeah, well, I've got earbuds in, and it was in my earbuds before, and then it switched over and went to the phone, and I get terrible feedback that way. So I wanted to make sure this was as good quality as we could do in my meager little studio here. So, so how many stamps on the passport has barbecue given you?
Oh, I'm so humbled. I had traveled around the world. I even was hired to do a private class in Asia. So I don't know if you've ever seen a movie called Crazy Rich Asians. Yeah, people like that. So they just find me on the internet and say that I want to learn to cook and I want a one-on-one class and you are it, and we'll bring you over and have you teach a class. I even started teaching barbecue training now, using barbecue as a means to build teams, to do Salesforce training, to do total quality management. So I actually formed a company with my buddy Nick. Nick's a very accomplished TED speaker. So we formed a company called Beyond the Smoke.net. And we are going around the country teaching what they call team building seminars using barbecue. So I do day one and Nick does day two. So day one is where we put you into barbecue teams. I give you a very abbreviated class, and we get you and your newfound teammates to collaborate to present your barbecue plan, your cook plan, your roles and responsibilities, your quality plan, your project management plan, your budget plan, and then you will cook an actual contest using the techniques I teach you. And we keep it simple. They cook a chicken and like tri-tip on a kettle. And then they have to then present their product live to show how they follow the cook plan and how they execute it. So what we do is we have a lot of cities that are now signing up for the plan, where we come in and provide a non-death by PowerPoint training, because we've all gone to those death by PowerPoint 100%. Trainings where you go learn team building, crisis management, quality management, and so on. That is really boring. You're sitting in the classroom. So what we do is we have a very unique program where on day one, I put them through a mock barbecue contest, force them to work together. So like maybe the head of engineering, the head of operations, the head of finance are forced to be on a team. And these people are very strong personalities. So they are forced to come together to form a coherent and cohesive team, present their plan as a team, execute the cook, and then present the cook at the end and be scored by a panel of judges. And sometimes the panel judges could be the city manager, could be a local politician, and he puts them through the crucible of heat, fire, and smoke to bring out the best in their team building ability. And we do that in about half a day. So that has really become extremely popular. And then on day two, Nick does his TED Talk about building teams. And then we build paper airplanes. We do a lot of crazy things to kind of put people together. So we did one in Texas that was very successful. And we brought in the city of Plano, Dallas and so on. So we trained the team, and we're going to be doing those gigs again in 2024. So that's a kind of something I started with Nick just for fun, because we found out that when we go out, we teach team building. Barbecue is a great way to unite people. And if you have a dysfunctional group of people, for example, I started by accident because one of the students I taught in my class in California was the CEO of Nickelodeon. And he was telling me, Harry, can you help solve a problem? Because the people in Nickelodeon, my SpongeBob people will not talk to my Panda people because they are all prima donnas. so I went to the parking lot. I forced the Panda team and the SpongeBob team to kind of mix together and force them to cook a barbecue contest. And that was voted the most popular extracurricular class in Nickelodeon. And since they invited me, I thought, that's a great concept, because barbecue is a way to bring people together. They're forced to cook barbecue, and you've got to have somebody watch the fire, somebody cook the meat, somebody make the presentation and do the flip charts and everything. So the little concept has now spun into a company now. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So you're definitely not taking it easy.
No, and then recently, about 2 months ago, Jealous Devil contacted me. And I think everybody knows that I've been associated with Jealous Devil quite a few years. I cooked a trade show for Jealous Devil back in 5 years ago. And they brought me in as a pitmaster to cook a trade show. And I made some food for them using their Jealous Devil charcoal at I don't remember where it was, maybe Las Vegas trade show. I do so many shows. So we brought some food back into the pavilion for the owners of the company, Ramin and Bob, and they ate the barbecue that I made for the show on the outside of the pavilion. And they said, who made this wonderful meat and everything? Then I said, I did. They said, so what did you put on it? I put some Slap Your Daddy sauce and rub on it. They say, dang, that is good stuff. Do you want to private label with us with Jealous Devil? I say, sure, why not? I sell products online. After I retired, I put out 10 rubs and 5 sauces. And they started private labeling my Slap Your Daddy product in their own label. They made a little caricature of me to step on the label. And they've been selling my product in their bottle for a while now. And lo and behold, I helped them get into Home Depot a few years ago when I did the hog cook, because they wanted to impress Home Depot. They needed a pitmaster to cook a hog in a parking lot in the Mandalay Bay using the cinder blocks that Home Depot would provide. So I drew a design of a 5x3 cinder block pit, and then I had them build it in a parking lot in the Mandalay Bay. I drove out to Mandalay Bay and I cooked 2 hogs over 2 days for the Jealous Devil booth in the trade show with 5,000 Home Depot managers. And lo and behold, the CEO and the president came over to visit the Jealous Devil booth, and he ate that whole hog. And I had a conversation with him, and we were talking. And guess what? Next thing you know, Home Depot ends up in 2,300. I'm sorry, Jealous Devil ends up in 2,300 Home Depot stores. Just like that. And then now, about a couple of months ago, Jealous Devil contacted me and said, Harry, Home Depot wants to carry your product now. So I thought, whoa, wait a minute here. What does that mean? So they're testing my products, my rubs and sauce in their 54 stores. So I've been running with the chicken with the head chopped off, trying to put my product into a smaller bottle, because Jealous Devil has to produce a 10-ounce bottle. So we had to retool it from a 16-ounce bottle over to a 10-ounce. So now apparently they're going to be selling my product in Home Depot in 54 test stores. So I hope your viewers are watching this podcast, because I'm going to plead for your help soon. I'm going to release the database of the 54 stores that is going to be coming on. And I would love it if your viewers could go out and show me some love, maybe take a picture or shoot an Instagram reel with holding my bottle in their local Home Depot store with my product. And that would be a huge boon. I've been trying to get my product into stores for 15 years. And hopefully it will be an overnight success, 15 years in the making.
Absolutely. I think that's what you are anyway, right? You're just an overnight success, 15 years in the making.
I just have fun, and like I said, I'm what is known as a spaghetti thrower. A spaghetti thrower is an entrepreneur who keeps throwing spaghetti on the wall until one day some spaghetti will stick. That's my whole mantra, and most important, to have fun doing that. To give you a quick story here. So I have a buddy, his name is John. He used to work for Brinkman, who works for Cabela. He used to work for Sam's Club. So more recently, he told me, Harry, can I borrow your expertise to build a grill? Because you know me, I've used pretty much every grill in the world for the past 15 years. So I have very strong feelings. I'm like a barbecue snob, right? Every piece of equipment that I use, I always find something wrong with it that I have to work around, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great equipment, right? For example, my favorite pellet cooker is the Smokefire from Weber, which has a few issues, but it's my favorite cooker. So I work around all these issues. So John said, hey, I know you like live fire. I'm gonna put together a live fire stainless grill. Can you critique it? So I critiqued it, and I liked it so much. I say, John, you have a great product, provided I improve it. So I worked on his design, and I, penciled in 17 things I want changed to make it the cooker that I will want to cook on. And he said, well, if you want to cook on it, would you like to start this company with me? And I said, why not? I've never sold grills. I never made grills, but I know how to cook on a grill. That's what I know. Yeah. So we formed the new company 2 months ago. We called it Primal Grills USA. It's primal because you want to go out and light a fire and bring out the inner pyromaniac within you, because I am a self-confessed pyromaniac. I like fire. And I cooked on like offset smokers. I cook on pellet cookers. I cook on Webers. I cook on Kamados. I cook on BGEs, drums over the years. But barbecue is great, but barbecue doesn't involve sexy burning flames. So I love live fire because when I was in Mexico, they taught me how to cook cabrito. They helped me cook meat on the frame, the whole animal on the frame. So I was completely enamored with that whole live fire cooking because that's what I really enjoy. When I first started cooking barbecue, I cook on a Weber kettle. And that live fire on a Weber kettle, right, really resonates with me. Smoking a piece of brisket for 13 hours is great, but there's no real fire unless you run an offset. So I thought, I really enjoy live fire cooking. What would I want in my backyard to cook would be a live fire grill. So I decided I'll form a company with my buddy John, and we're going to launch our product line in spring of 2024. We're going to launch a Primal Grill 304 stainless steel Santa Maria style cooker. And we're going to focus on 200 lucky people. We're going to only make 200. And if 200 lucky people want to buy, that's all we're going to sell for 2024. Just to get it out, because that's actually, I'm doing it for me. I want one. but to make it work, we have to make some more. So I'll keep one as another 199. And I told John, why don't we just try to sell it and see if anybody in America wants a live fire grill designed by Harry Soo that he's happy cooking on.
Yeah. So now, are these going to be like hand numbered with?
That's a great idea. And then I told them that nobody ever offers customer service today, because customer service dead in 2023. I'm sorry to say this, and I'm sure Wes, you agree. Customer service is dead in 2023 because whenever I have a problem, right, it's so hard to talk to a human being to get anything resolved. Doesn't matter if it's insurance, it's your car, it's your house, whatever. It's always something that you can't get anybody. So I told John, we will do something never done before. We'll sell a grill to you. Harry Soo comes with the grill. I'll give you free support, Zoom, text, email, phone to help you, get your cooking done. And maybe even raffle off one person, one or two lucky people in a year. If you win that, that golden ticket or I'll come to your home and teach you how to cook on it. I'll teach you the snake method. I'll teach you the portrait method. I'll teach you the direct, indirect method. I'll teach you the caveman method. I'll teach you all these methods on cook on live fire, because that's where my passion is, playing with live fire. And with live fire, you can cook so many more things. You can cook yakitori. You can cook satay. You can cook braai. You can cook churrascaria. So, American barbecue is wonderful. Low and slow is wonderful. But that's just one tip of the iceberg. There's a whole iceberg underneath that needs to be developed. And I really want to show people the style of grilling that I have seen around the world. There's so many things you can cook on a grill that tastes so much better than cooking it in the kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got somebody, Spiker 4x4. This is well done. Following from South Africa. Member Meatstock Australia.
Wonderful. Yeah, say shout out to him, and they do something called Bry. I was privileged to work with Jan Scannell last year in Cologne, Germany. He was the pitmaster representing African style barbecue. So Jan Scannell is a well-known celebrity in African style barbecue Bry. He was there. He gave me a few pointers on how to cook Bry, Brai, which is the African style of barbecue. So they cook interesting things like game meats that we don't usually find in America.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful way to cook it. They have a peri peri sauce from Africa that is absolutely amazing. So I cannot wait to showcase the world barbecue that you see through live fire grilling. So whether you cook different kinds of kebabs, you cook different kinds of Greek style barbecue, there is just a whole world of cooking out there that needs to be shown and enjoyed.
Yeah. Well, and I really thought going into this episode, I was like, I see the TV show stuff, and I see your YouTube stuff. I had no idea you're a glacier, you're a barbecue glacier yourself, right? Because I see the show, your little clips of the barbecue show with what.
Oh, barbecue! You're talking about Barbecue Country? Oh, yeah, I was on a Barbecue Country show
Country
recently, and what is interesting in the format is they pair a pitmaster with the Padawan. So my Padawan was Chris Gurley, and Chris is a backyarder, and I paired with him, and we got to do some crazy cooking stuff. That's what I really love is the creativity that comes, and then teaching somebody how to cook. So my cooking style is best described because I have no formal training. I have no culinary degree. I have no formal training. I'm a total quack. But my quack style is you guys you know what MMA is, right? MMA, mixed martial arts. So I'm a mixed martial arts of barbecue because I have no training. I can cook with Japanese barbecue. I can cook with Indonesian barbecue. I can cook with churrascaria barbecue. I can cook with American barbecue. I can cook with Texas barbecue. So I basically will do kickboxing, karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, grappling, fist fighting, and everything in my cooking. So that's what I really love to do is try all these different techniques on cooking. So in 2024, I told myself, since I'm traveling hopefully less than the 63 gigs in 2023, I'll focus more on showcasing some of my methods in cooking all these different styles of food. I posted a lot of videos last year, but they related to more like my traveling. But I'm telling myself in 2024, I want to devote more time to actually doing what I love. I love to cook. I love to experiment. I like to try new ideas. And with the new Primal Grill I'm going to get soon, I'm going to be doing a lot of work cooking live fire cuisine. So everybody on my channel, you see a shift from Harry showing what he did in Germany and what he did in Mexico over to cooking in his backyard, showing you all the wonderful recipes that I want to make.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of, it gets back to kind of what your roots were, because you had some travel videos in there, but you had a lot of you went through the black belt tips, and that's what, those are always my favorites is the tips, the cooking videos themselves. Like I love the travel too, but like I love to watch somebody cook. And I really thought revisiting this episode with you, it was going to be like, oh yeah, this is all the stuff that I'm doing with the YouTube, and this is what I'm doing with the barbecue show. And other than that, I'm kicking back. I saw the stuff in Germany and stuff like that, but I had no idea you've already started 2 companies since you've been retired. So that was a big surprise to me. So we've gotten 2 new companies since you've retired, plus the YouTube stuff, plus the barbecue show, and I'm not really sure when you sleep.
I actually have that on my to-do list. So I have I think I should start a new channel called the Health Channel, right? I have to say, right, I want to put a message out to all my barbecue buddies. Please take care of yourself. In particular, take care of your health. Because if you cannot take care of your health, you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot take care of your family, and you cannot take care of all your loved ones. And I always tell people, you gotta learn to be selfish. Put your health as the non-negotiable
Hmm.
priority in your life. Because
Yeah.
if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And
Yeah.
I'm sad to report I've lost some friends through, COVID, through diabetes, through illness, and it's really heartbreaking. And they
Mhm.
focus so much on their business, they focus so much on the winning awards, they focus so much on making a living that they forgot to focus on the most important thing is their health and themselves.
Mhm.
So I want to put a shout out to all my buddies out there watching this podcast. Please, please take care of yourself. And
Mhm.
taking care of yourself, you gotta make sure that you are healthy physically, your physical health, you're healthy emotionally, you're healthy mentally.
Mhm.
I've lost people through mental health. They committed suicide, and I just want to make a shout out that if you need help, right, and you are in trouble, go get help. Do not think it's a macho thing that you have to deal with
Mhm.
yourself. So if you have
Yeah.
any health issues, emotional issues, or mental issues, go get help because
Yeah.
you can reverse how you feel and what you feel.
Yeah. Well, we got deep there for a minute, didn't we?
I always tell people that all you have in life is the ability to live one lifetime, to do it with
Mhm.
joy, because life is brief. You gotta learn how to live it with intensity. Don't could
Yeah.
have, don't would have, don't should have. Just go ahead and just do it. For example, I have some crazy bucket list goals. I want to cook a steak on lava, and I've been doing some research on where on the planet Earth do you find lava, and I found out there's one spot on Earth where 1/3 of the magma of the Earth globe comes through that part in the ground, and
Mhm.
that happens in an island called Iceland. And one
Mhm.
third of the lava of Earth comes through that place. So if you see me on YouTube cooking a steak on lava, I have not gone crazy because it's something I always wanted to do. I was so privileged that I wanted to cook a steak underneath the Northern Lights. And my
Mhm.
buddy, Mike Bowles, who is the president of the Alaskan Barbecue Association, invited me over to Alaska. So I went to Alaska. He found me a musk ox. A musk ox is an oxen. And I
Mhm.
cooked a musk ox on a little Smoky Joe underneath the Northern Lights. How cool is that? I couldn't make it up
That's
if I tried.
yeah. That's bucket list type stuff.
Yes.
Um, well, and that's where the whole most folks know that the whole slap your daddy barbecue started as the bucket list, the kick the bucket list type stuff. Because when the movie came out, you guys all kind of talked about stretch goals and wrote stretch goals for each other, and that blossomed into you cooking a competition and winning first place right out of the gate, and created a barbecue monster, if we will. Um, so you've taken retirement, you've not slowed down at all, but do you ever regret, because you've been in barbecue for quite some time and you were doing barbecue and your day job, did you ever think about leaving the day job to do barbecue full time, or are you happy that you just stayed the course and kept the day job running, and then when that finally sunset on that, you stepped out into the new barbecue world?
I think that for most of us, right, we have to prioritize making a living. At the same time, it's really important in your life journey to make a difference. If you're
Hmm.
blessed to be able to make a living and make a difference, then I think that you found the perfect vocation. For me, I spent 30 plus years in public service, which is what I really wanted to do. I gave up a career in the private industry because I wanted to do something of public service. So I decided to work for a government agency. Also, it was driven by my life circumstances. I lost my wife to cancer when my kids were very young. So I was a single parent. I raised five. My son was 5. My daughter was 3. So I was a single parent. So I focused on taking care of my kids and raising them. And so that I didn't pursue a private sector CIO job, I pursued a public sector where the money was stable, had good benefits, and I could have time for my kids. So I focused on that part in the first 3 decades of my career. But now that I have been done making a living, I can now make a difference more so with barbecue. So I've been kind of moonlighting in barbecue for 15 years, overlapping my IT career. So now I'm switching over to the barbecue full time because I think that I'm going to devote the rest of my life to focus on just three things, right? I want to serve you. I want to feed you. And I want to love you. So any gigs that come my way, if they meet those three criteria, I'm going to say yes. I'm not going to say no, because while my body is able to get on an airplane, sit for 12 hours at a time, go across the world and experience you, experience your culture, experience your energy, I'm going to say yes. So that's why I think last year I did so many gigs. Next year, I'm going to try to slow down a little bit because I'm realizing as you get older, things like jet lag, things like, being up on your feet for 16 hours, they actually take a toll on your body. So I'm no longer the young whippersnapper that I was.
Just a little bit.
But I always tell people, you really got to have clarity in your life journey.
Yeah.
And life is not really about collecting trophies, collecting money, collecting businesses, collecting zeros in your bank account. My life is really about having joy and learning how to have great gratitude. Because from the gratitude, you become thankful, and from thankful, you become happy. So I met a lot of people around the world that are very, very wealthy. They have everything they have in the world, but they are unhappy because they don't understand that happiness doesn't come from the things that you own. It comes from the memories that you build. It comes from a relationship, just like you and I, Ves, we met a few years ago, and now we're best friends, right? And this relationship is priceless. They will last forever. Yeah. And then the last thing that you will need to remember is that don't buy things, buy experiences, because from experiences, you will get memories, and memories will be with you till the day you die, until you sunset. So focus on giving and receiving love, focus on relationships, focus on creating memories. Buy experiences, don't buy things. And that's what I kind of realized. It took me 60 years to realize that. And I'm saying this message to your podcast viewers is that if you're young, just remember that going around and trying to make a living is important, but also work on trying to make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've gotten way deeper than I anticipated. I was like, we're going to spend 25 minutes chatting about the YouTube channel. Do you have somebody that's doing your editing for that? Or are you doing that?
I have been trying to recruit help. I realized that with my travel schedule, I don't always have time to kind of put things together. But right now, I think that there's something magical called shorts and reels. So, it took me a long time. I'm a very, very slow editor to try to edit a 10-minute video. And I realized the world has moved on with the attention span of a Cocker Spaniel now, right? So now everything has to be done in 58 seconds. So now what I'm trying to do is I actually am able to optimize my output by editing the reels, editing the video clips into short reels. And people seem to appreciate that more. I think that's where the world's going, right? The long form videos aren't so popular. So for those, what I try to do is I try to get help to edit the long form videos. But when I travel, I try to put out all these little reels every day. And people seem to be interested in what I'm doing, which to me is, always very fascinating because I think I live the whole hum life. But people say, oh, yeah, I enjoyed that little clip you sent me. And I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. If I can make a positive influence on your life by sharing what I do, I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah. Oh. So we've gotten 2 businesses. Are there any more businesses that you've just got in your heart that you've got to make, or is 2 enough?
I am going to start another business for my friends who are non-meat eaters because I don't want to sound hypocritical because they say, Harry, you cook a lot of meat, right? What about us? How come we have no love? And I say, you're absolutely right. When I go out and I preach the message of being inclusive, that means I have to include everybody. Right? Yeah. Whether you are like me, you enjoy cooking with brisket or you enjoy cooking tofu, I gotta step up to what I say. So I'm actually creating another line of product called Slap Your Vegan Daddy.
Okay, so there's going to be a full-on line with
Full
it
online.
too.
Because see, the thing is, like they say, Harry, you make all these wonderful seasonings that won first place brisket, won first place KCBS Team of the Year chicken, and on and on and on. Where is the stuff for us? We eat legumes, we eat starch, we eat vegetables. Why don't you make the product? I say, yeah, of course, I should do that because I want to take care of you. I want to be inclusive. So I'm going to launch some products next year. I call it plant power, starch madness, and I'm trying to come up with a concept where I cook vegetables also at home.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm on the road, for example, I told you in
Don't tell
Germany,
everybody you
I
cook
cooked some vegetables and they were a hit in Germany. I did not know Germans like vegetables, but apparently they do. So why don't I use the same technique I use, and that creates a series of products for the vegan people, vegetable people, and I can do that fairly easily. So I'm working at actually 3 different rubs, seasonings that I'm going to do for that community. And then because I love to cook curries, I've been cooking curries for 40 years. I'm going to launch another channel called hurrycurryharry.com because I want to show people that you can also cook curry. And there's at least 15 kinds of curries around the world, which I actually cook for myself at home because I enjoy spicy food. So, in addition to barbecue, I actually do a lot of other stuff outside of barbecue because I just love the culinary world. Even though I spend all my life in the technical IT world, I really enjoy playing with the ingredients. When you see a white plate, you see an empty plate. To me, I see possibilities that can go on a white plate. So even though I'm not artistic because I do IT, the artistic side of me comes out when I cook because I love to experiment with ingredients. I cook with cuisines around the world, and I'm comfortable throwing the cranberry together with the chipotle raspberry. It all comes together.
Yeah. So with the vegan stuff and the vegan channel, we're going to see some probably some new adventures from that. I, brother, I don't know when you're going to be able to slow down.
Like I said, right? When you're having fun, it's never work when you're having fun. I love the idea that we can see, whereas you and I have a unique privilege, right? And actually a responsibility. The biggest evil in the world that I've seen in my travels is ignorance. For example, people think that French fries was invented in France. No, it is not. Okay, it's invented in Belgium. People think that the fish taco was invented in Mexico. It wasn't. It was invented by the Japanese who went to Mexico to teach Mexican people how to farm the ocean. And they were homesick, so they made some tempura fish with the fish, and they put that into a taco, and that became fish taco. So when you embrace a culture or you embrace a particular form, you just need to trace where the roots are so that you are not so, how should I say, possessive of that knowledge or that culture or that tradition, and you say it's yours, and then you tell people everybody's doing it wrong. The Japanese didn't invent tempura because the tempura was actually invented when the Portuguese visited Japan in the 17th century. So I always tell people ignorance is one of the greatest evils in the world because ignorance people couple with arrogance. So when you have ignorance and you have arrogance, you have a very potent combination. And I believe that if we all take the responsibility to educate ourselves and not to be arrogant and be humble and to appreciate and include everything we learn in the world, you will learn that the more you learn, the more you realize how little you know. So in my travels around the world, what I have done is, because I cook barbecue, American style barbecue, I try to learn all the other barbecue traditions around the world to learn what is the history, how they came about. And in learning that, I realized I know nothing about barbecue because there's so much information out there to be learned. And my job right now, before I go, is to share the information with the world, to show them how to be inclusive with this idea called barbecue. Because barbecue caused the evolution of us. So we are a hominoid called Homo sapiens. And we've only been around about 175,000 years. And our ancestors, there were at least 10 different types of humans. They evolved primarily because of barbecue.
Yeah.
So barbecue, which is cooking meat over fire, release the energy in the food that caused the noggin, the brain, to evolve. So our early ancestors, like Homo erectus and Homo habilis, Australopithecus, they kind of evolved over time from 4 million years in Lucy in Africa to us Homo sapiens today is because of barbecue, because we learned how to cook food in fire that released the caloric intake. We grew our brain from 500 cubic centimeters to 1,300 cubic centimeters today. And the only way the scientists calculated that could happen was the release of the caloric value of the food that we eat by cooking it. So we are the evolution of our species predominantly caused by our ability to control fire and cook food over fire, which is barbecue. So how cool is that? I would happy to be an ambassador of that point to remind people in the world that we all evolved the same through barbecue. We should all learn how to get along with each other. So whether you cook brisket fat side up or fat side down, we are brothers and sisters living on a little spaceship called Earth, hurtling around the sun called the solar system, hurtling around something called the Milky Way in one of the innumerable number of galaxies in this universe. So please don't have a Jerry Springer fist fight over things that don't matter. Because I worry because there's 3 guys, right, with the finger on the red button. If they press that red button, this beautiful little blue planet will be gone. You and me will be gone. And there is absolutely zero need to do that. Our wisdom and our morals and our compassion should evolve at the same pace as our technological ability. But unfortunately, our technological ability has gone so much greater that our wisdom, compassion, and kindness and love hasn't grown the same way. So I think that you and I have such a great responsibility, whereas we have to communicate to the world that they need to use barbecue as a way to transmit more love, more kindness, more compassion, more tolerance, more understanding. And the diversity of barbecue is so great that it's a great metaphor for why we should all do that to preserve this little blue planet that we live on.
There you go. There you go, man. You're deep on me over here. I had your buddy the Sausage Sensei on here,
Bill.
and he surprised the crap out of me too, because he was he's very analytical and he deep dives into stuff like this too, and I was like, wow, this guy is he's got a lot of knowledge that he needs to get out. So with him having his classes out there with you, what is it, once a month now?
We did I think like 3 or 4 last year. I was just amazed that there's so many people who want to learn how to make sausage. And Bill, for those of you who do not know, Bill Dumas, the sausage sensei from Austin, Texas. He is the #1 sausage master that I have met. And I have met many, many sausage masters around the world, from the ones from England, the ones in Germany, and so on. But he really knows his style because he's an expert on Texas-style sausage. So Texas-style sausage, for those who are not aware, is a particular way of making sausage that is kind of born from the roots in Texas. And Bill does a fantastic job teaching people how to rekindle that tradition and how to take that tradition home and make it your own. And he can explode any dish and stuff it into a tube. Whether it's satay or birria or braai, he can do it all. So I'm privileged to call him my friend. And did he tell you the story how I met him? I went to Australia to do a gig in Perth. And I meet this guy and I say, you talk with a funny accent. You don't speak like a Australian. You speak like an American. And I say, you kind of sound Texan to me because I went to Texas Tech, right? And I say, wow, Australian with a strange accent in Perth. And I found out he's from Austin, Texas, and we were hired to do a gig in Perth. And we met a few years ago, and we became best friends since.
Yeah. He was probably one of my favorite guests over the last year, just because of his deep diving into what he does and why he does the stuff that he does. It was fascinating to me. So this year, as far as the holidays coming up, any more traveling plans coming up?
I did my last travel last Sunday. Actually, a local travel. I think it's Bill. Bill was here, so that was thankfully my last class. I need some time to do laundry. Fix my house, clean the pool. I told myself during the holiday, I'm just gonna take it easy. Of course, my family expects barbecue. So, I am the person who always gets invited to so many parties because they think that when they invite me, right, the food comes with me. So I'll be doing my normal stuff for Christmas. And then I think that I held off all the gigs. I only have one more gig. I think in January, I only had 2 gigs. One of them is Panama. So I'm going to go to Panama and teach the Panamanians how to cook barbecue. But I told Joe, my business manager now, he's helping me out. Kind of like, let's lower the number of gigs that I'm going to do. Let me do some local ones. And then I want to really go back to what I really enjoy, cooking and sharing my recipes with my online community and kind of go back to where I started. I'm a barbecue competitor at heart, love to tinker with recipes and love to show you a new side of me because I think a lot of people realize I know how to cook barbecue, which is the low and slow stuff. But I don't think that I've shown the world the enormous diversity possible cooking with live fire and doing grilling kind of stuff. There's just so many land animals, so many animals in the air, and so many animals in the sea that I can cook. Besides the normal short ribs and brisket and chicken and tri-tip and so on. There's so many more things that you can do on a kind of a live fire. And I'm just so excited to showcase that in 2024. So it's going to be a completely kind of different slant, and move. I want to try to do less classes and demos and trade shows and focus more on cooking and creating new recipes.
Yeah. So a little less travel. Do you, sidebar, this is completely unrelated, I get. Well, maybe it's not. Do you remember when me, you, and Junior were talking about going out to Egypt in early 2020?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we all kind of decided not to go with everything looming in 2020 and the travel restrictions and that sort of thing. Would you do something like that again? And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, I had a friend of mine, barbecue friend of mine that is in Egypt that was trying to build an Americanized barbecue restaurant and wanted us to kind of build a little team that could build a smoker and help develop recipes and that sort of thing in 2020. And we all are fully aware of what happened in early 2020. And we all kind of backed out on that. But would you do something like that again?
I think the world has changed. I think in terms of like safety and health has stabilized. So I would definitely be looking at any opportunity to go spread barbecue love. I told you I flew to Asia and then I did a one-on-one class to a wealthy client because that's what they wanted. And if there's any area in the world that needs barbecue love, sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the holidays, we'll kind of wrap the episode, and who knows, we may go off on a tangent afterwards. But for the holidays, what speaks to Harry Soo? What's got to be on your table for the holidays? Like what is it? And give me a recipe, if you will, like just a condensed version of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the normal thing that everybody wants to do, and I know that my viewers ask me is how to cook a prime rib.
Okay.
And I always tell people you can cook a prime rib well in the oven, but it tastes so much better if you cook a whole prime rib roast in your pit. Whether you have a Weber kettle, you have a gas grill, you have a $20,000 offset, it's all good so long as you can get some smoke on it. So the tip for cooking a prime rib is to not overcook it. I like a 200-degree oven, 200-degree pit, and let it slowly come up to temp. And all you need to do is ensure that the internal temperature comes up to temp. And most people like around, I don't know, I usually go to like 132, 135-ish, kind of a little medium rare. And then if you want to get the outside to be nice and charred, you can just sear it on your gas grill. Or like me, I like my Grill Blazer grill gun. And that's the 007 thing that you see me use. And that will put a really, really nice sear on your outside of your prime rib. And I think they make it in two versions, right? There's a bigger version and the shorter version, right? So the shorter version works really well. So if you have never seen the grill blazer grill gun, go check it out online. And maybe somebody might put that in your stocking stuffer. You never know. Or better still, go get one and give it to your best buddy or friend or family member. And what do you call it? Enjoy a perfectly smoked and perfectly seared prime rib for the holidays.
What is for us a rub suggestion for it? I mean, just salt, pepper, garlic, and go with it,
Yeah,
or
you can buy a commercial rub from somebody like me. I have like 10 different rubs. I always tell people that for beef, you can do two ways, right? The normal way is the SPG, salt, pepper, garlic, or you can go with the competition rub. So I'll give you an example. So the way I thought through it is I have a Moolah beef rub that won first place, brisket. Then I created SCA rub. So SCA rub is kind of a supercharged rub. And I also have something I call the Texas Brisket Magic, because a lot of folks who tell me, Harry, I like your products for cooking brisket, and your brisket rub gives a competition look, which is kind of slightly reddish and dark. I like that Dalmatian Texas kind of style. So I went back to my days in Texas Tech, where I blended my first rub. So I make something called the Texas Brisket Magic, which is basically like a Dalmatian rub. So when you cook your prime rib, you can use a competition style beef rub, or you can use a SPG style beef rub, or you can just mix it yourself at home and do like a 50-50 kosher salt with pepper. Usually it's about 14 mesh, 16 mesh. I personally like 12 mesh. So if you want to get nerdy with me, I can get nerdy for half an hour discussing the different kinds of peppers and different kind of mesh. Because when you go to bed at night, you dream about your vacation. I go to bed dreaming about the different size and color of mesh pepper. Okay. So pepper and kosher salt works really well.
Yeah. So any kind of a side dish that says holiday to you, that's got to be on there. Like, is there a particular stuffing or any particular side that you do that everybody expects you to do? Because I know everybody expects you to do the meats, but do you have a side that's just Harry's favorite and you find yourself going back in for seconds, or keeping it and having leftovers?
Yeah, my favorite signature side is actually something that is very unexpected. My most popular side dish, whether I serve it to family, friends during catering events or trade shows, is Harry's grilled grapes. Just like that, grilled grapes. Yeah, it's unbelievably amazing the response I've gotten with that simple side dish for the past 15 years as a professional pitmaster. I cook that brisket perfectly, but people don't go gaga over the brisket. They go gaga over the grilled grapes. So for your viewers today on the podcast, go to Costco or Sam's, buy either the green grapes or the black grapes. Go home, put some extra virgin olive oil on the grapes, the whole bunch. Sprinkle your favorite barbecue rub, and then grill it until you get a nice char. And the heat releases the fructose and caramelizes the sugars. And you have all these beautiful pile of grilled grapes. And your family, I guarantee, will go gaga over that side dish. And it's super, super easy to do. And that will basically make you the side dish god of your family. You'll beat all the other side dishes like the mac and cheese and everything else that you might. So that's my tip to you is do grilled grapes. And I usually pair with whatever vegetable I can find in Sam's and Costco. Like asparagus is good. I like those little sweet bell peppers. So if you create a dish of just the asparagus, which is green, the grapes which are black, and then you couple with some of those colorful sweet peppers, and you grill them with some barbecue rub and extra virgin olive oil, get a nice char. You serve that on a beautiful white platter during your holiday feast, and everybody's going to go crazy over it. So that's my recommendation.
Yeah, grilled grapes.
Grilled grapes are very, very unexpected. I always have, when I do trade show, I always have a line outside my booth, and people are saying, wow, what kind of meat is this guy putting out? He's putting out grilled grapes. And the nice thing is what happened is I always have a lot of women in the line because they go to all these trade shows and everybody's serving meat and samples. And then everybody's looking for something refreshing to eat, and they come to my booth because I'm grilling the asparagus and the grapes. I even grill Brussels sprouts. I grill bell peppers. So that's the secret for those folks out there who want to impress. Don't show them something conventional. Show them something unconventional. And if you never tried grilled grapes on the grill with extra virgin olive oil and your favorite rub, I suggest you try these holidays.
Yeah, I'm gonna trust you because you haven't led me astray yet. But grilled grapes didn't see that one coming.
See, that's why you have me on a show. I will throw you all these kinds of curveballs, and I always tell people, you never know until you try. And I cooked a lot. I grilled pretty much every creature and everything on my grill. And for some reason, whenever I serve that grilled grapes, right, people go gaga over it. And I don't understand why, but I'm just sharing you the actual track record for 15 years cooking professionally. That is my one item. People, I spend 14 hours making the brisket, and I expect people to go ooh and ah. They go ooh and ah over the grapes.
Yeah, it's you got 5 to 10 minutes into making grapes, and you got a 15-hour brisket, and oh wow.
Yeah, and I proved it again in Germany when everybody went gaga over the grilled grapes, and that brisket had no love. I put so much effort into cooking a brisket. Everybody enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but brisket is brisket. After you eat a few, right, it's all gonna be pretty good. But when you see something like grilled grapes and they taste it, and that grape bursts in your mouth full of flavor, and then that sugar, the fructose caramelizes, and then you get that burst of sweetness. And you burst of the char, you get a little bit of rub, you get a little bit extra virgin olive oil. It is quite an interesting experience. So if you take that grape, you close your eyes and you pop in your mouth, right? You have like an explosion of flavor, very similar to the same explosion of flavor when you put a piece of like a burnt end in your mouth and you close your eyes and you kind of chew on that burnt end, you get that kind of beef heaven flavor. When you do that with the grape, right, and you do it right, where the grape is not burnt, the grape is not cracked. The important thing is when you grill the grapes, try not to crack the skin. Get it to be cooked so that it's ripe and ready to pop like a balloon. And you put it in your mouth and you close your eyes and you just bite into it. You will be transported to grape heaven. So I bet your audience is going to say, what? You brought this guy on to talk about cooking meat and he talks about grilling grapes.
Yeah. Well, and to the listeners, I've known Harry for a little while. He's not messing with us. This is something legitimately that he does or cooks.
Another thing I tell people is that people don't believe me. I tell them that if you never tasted pork, take a solid frozen pork butt from the freezer, unseasoned, put it in your pit, run your pit around 200, 210, and cook it until that pork butt gets tender, and you will be amazed at how wonderful pork tastes without any
flavor of pork,
without any cooking. It's just frozen into the pit, low temperature, do it until it's cooked. So once you get some crust on the thing, just wrap it in paper or wrap it in foil and cook it to perfection. Don't season it at all, and just shred it at the end and taste it. And you will be transformed to realize why I love hogs.
Yeah.
So a pig is my favorite animal to cook because there's so much flavor and texture you can get out of one pig. The pork shoulder has 16 different muscles, and you can create a chicken breast from the pork shoulder. You can create spaghetti. You can create the money muscle, pectoralis profundi. You can create the scapula. There's so many muscles you can eat from a hog that it's much harder to do on a cow.
Yeah.
So we should have a whole session. Harry will get on your podcast and do 1 hour of hog cooking.
We can do that. I think if we do a hog episode, we've got to figure out somewhere to meet to do that.
Let's build a cinder block pit and then let's cook a hog on a pit. Let's do that. Let's pencil it for 2024. Let's do it.
Let's do that in 2024. We can make Junior hostess again.
He's got a beautiful restaurant. Let's go give him some exposure and social media on his restaurant, and then get him to let us cook a hog and let's shoot an episode and have fun. And let's do a Balinese hog. Let's do a what do you call Carolina hog. Let's do a California style hog. Teach you guys how to do a Japanese hog. So we'll do hog 6 different ways from around the world.
Yeah. Let's see the Hogs from Around the World tour.
Yes, and there's so many recipes that we can do like a char siu hog. We can do a cabrito style, Monterrey style Mexico hog. There's just an unlimited possibility. You can do a Filipino lechon where you and I will put it on a bamboo pole and we'll put our feet and we use our feet to roll the hog back and forth. That is just an amazing diversity of how Homo sapiens cook hog around the world. And I think that our audience in America should be exposed to all those wonderful ways of preparing hog. There's not just one way where you just cook it on a brick pit. There's so many other ways to cook hog, so many ways to season the hog, so many ways to prepare it, and how to get a crispy skin so that, it's kind of like chicharrones on the hog.
Chicharrones.
So you cook it la cachachina style. There's just so many different ways to cook a hog.
Let's do it. Let's pencil it in for 24. Man, I've enjoyed chatting with you. My listeners and the folks that are behind the scenes here, we're going to cut it, and we'll probably chat for another 20 minutes. And you guys don't get to watch. Let me hit the outro, and we'll get out of here, man.
All right.
All right, guys. This week's episode with Harry Soo out of Diamond Bar, California. Guys, if you've enjoyed this week's episode, we would appreciate a review, a like, a share, and as always, keep smoking. See you, everybody.
All right. Thanks for having me, Wes.